We'll pretend like we started again. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Brittany. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good, good. So before we started recording, we were chatting about your teaching online. So has already been teaching online helped you with teaching your restorative class online, or is it just a totally different beast?
Um, Usually in a restorative class, I spend a lot of time kind of walking around, making sure people are okay, putting people in better positions or whatever. And now I'm going to have to do that verbally
Right,
by what I see, and I may not see it correctly.
right.
You know what I mean?
This is just so weird, like trying to teach restorative yoga through Zoom. It's all just this totally kind of bizarro world of teaching. Is this the weirdest moment in history that you've lived through, that you've experienced?
Um, I don't know. It's fun. I mean, it's funny because I lived in San Francisco during the AIDS crisis, like the height of the AIDS crisis. And
Hmm.
in some ways that was much scarier,
Right,
mostly because I was in my 20s, so people my age were dying.
right.
And I was also, of course, worried about myself. Like in San Francisco, we were really, really aware of it, but I don't know that the whole country was aware of it. Whereas this is like a world thing. I think that from a news perspective, it is the weirdest thing. But personally, I am not that upset by the way my life is right now because
Okay.
I get to work from home. I don't have to drive to work, which is like a 45-minute commute one way or the other.
Right.
I don't have, I mean, I'm saving on drive cleaning because I never wear normal clothes. And I live alone, so sometimes I get lonely, but then I know a lot of people in Long Beach where I live who also live alone or don't have children anyway, so that even if they're a couple, like we can do stuff. And I was in Japan for 3 months in the fall teaching over there. And when I came back, I wanted to see people, but I didn't want to be around a lot of people.
Okay.
I had been around a lot of people in Japan, and I just needed some alone time. So when this started, it actually fit my mood really, really well.
Yeah.
I realize people are really, really struggling. And, I acknowledge that and I feel bad for them. And I, of course, want this to end. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge that my own experience of it right now has been okay. I think
Yeah.
I'm worried more about my parents who are really old
Right.
than I am about myself. I'm actually worried about other people more than I'm worried about myself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends and relatives in New York City, and it seems like New York actually had a very similar experience that we did in San Francisco at that time.
Right.
Now, like with the COVID thing, such this kind of like you're really feeling like you're under the gun all the time. And then I also worked for a blood bank
Oh,
where
wow.
where all we talked about was how to
Right.
keep the blood supply safe. So I was kind of all wrapped up in it for the 4 years that I lived there. And this, I feel very disconnected from everything because I can't make I can't make any decisions.
Right.
My employer makes my decisions for me about where I'm going to work. President and governor and everybody, I have no connection to them whatsoever. And
Right.
so I feel much more isolated, and I'm kind of disconnected from events than I did when I lived in San Francisco.
I do feel similarly that like the family I work for is like, no, we still need you. So you
Mhm.
gotta come. I'm very grateful to be able to work still.
Right. I am too.
Yeah.
I feel extremely grateful. And so I feel extremely, extremely lucky
Yeah.
that I'm in the position that I'm in.
Yeah. Do you find yourself having more or less downtime?
I am absolutely, completely surprised and shocked at how busy I am. And I read somewhere that people who work from home, on average, work 2 hours a day more than they do when they go in. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. And then I immediately started thinking about all the other projects that I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, I can do those now. And so I'm like, it's rare that I'm like literally bored with nothing to do. For 2 weeks to the end of the summer, I mean, to the end of the semester, I'm so excited for a break.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to teach, but I have to plan my classes for next semester. But doing everything online, I need to rethink everything. And so,
what are some projects that you've done or started?
well, I am completely reorganizing well, I started with my kitchen, but in reality, what I'm really doing is reorganizing every surface in my apartment, because things are unorganized, and I don't even know what I have half the time. So I did this a few years ago, actually. Cindy actually was the one that encouraged me to do it, and I did, where I minimized stuff. But of course, I've had this creep back up again.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was looking at my kitchen. I was like, I don't even know what I have in here. And when I started to take out the stuff from the drawers, I'm like, oh, I have like 3 cheese cutter things. Like, why? Why do I have so many? So I've been doing that. I actually have taken a break from that because it was getting a little exhausting. I am supposed to go back to Japan. Well, I was supposed to go back next fall, but clearly that's not going to happen. So it'll probably be in fall 2023. Okay. And I decided that I wanted to know more Japanese. So I took a Japanese class this semester, which is so hard that I'm no longer going to take those classes because it's so hard. So I'm not going to take the classes anymore, but one of the things that I'm doing, which I've never done anything like this before in my life, is I've decided I'm going to take up calligraphy so I can learn how to write Japanese kanji in an interesting way. It's a little artistic thing, which came out of nowhere, and I don't know where that came from.
Is there anything that you're watching that's been really interesting, or not even interesting, but just like feel good?
So if you have Netflix, watch The Windsors, which is it's a soap opera about the royal family. It is hilarious, ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's so funny. And it's like this weird critique of the idea of monarchy while simultaneously supporting the idea of monarchy. And the actors I looked up all of the actors' bios. They're all comedians. Most of them were stand-up comedians before they did this. And it's very, very funny and ridiculously stupid. So, it's very much escapist.
Love that.
Yeah. So that's something that I recommend. Then on the other hand, I'm watching an amazing German show on Netflix called Babylon Berlin, which is really, really interesting. It's a kind of a cop drama that takes place in Berlin in the 30s. So, or maybe in the 20s. I don't think the Depression has happened yet. And it's like you can see the rumblings of Nazism starting to happen, but it's not about that at all because they're not Nazis. And it's really, the performances are really, really good. And the costumes and everything are really good. So that's something I really recommend. I love watching foreign television because they don't make as much television as we do, so it's usually better, frankly.
Right.
And then on Amazon, I started watching Bosch, which has been around for a long time. I think it's like their 6th season. Okay. And that is a mystery drama that's set in LA, and it is very LA. It's very LA. But you really see LA, like LA City. You really see it.
Bosch is a detective?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of this, yeah.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
Do you go back to Japan often, or is this like a regular thing?
No. I actually, I've been the teacher on a study abroad. This is study abroad is what I was doing. So I've been on the teacher and study abroad in Spain twice. And Spain is like my go-to country because I can speak Spanish. And if things open up, I might go to Japan on my own. To practice some of this Japanese that I've been trying to learn.
Yeah. If quarantine lifted tomorrow, would Japan be the place that you would want to travel to, or is there somewhere else?
Well, if it was lifted tomorrow, I would go to New Jersey to see my parents.
Oh, okay.
Who I haven't seen since August.
Yeah.
I went to Japan, and then I came back, and my dad turned 90 in March,
Oh,
and we were
wow.
supposed to have a big party for him. This happened like right at that time. But
Yeah.
I would go back to New Jersey and see my brother lives there, and my other brother lives in upstate New York, and I have a nephew there and a niece there, and
Yeah.
that's actually what I would do. It'd be all about family.
Do you have anything planned for the rest of your day?
Well, it's
Like,
my birthday today
what? How is this the first time you're mentioning that?
because I didn't really think it was about that. But it is my birthday today. So I have
Birthday.
friends going over to their house for lunch. They have a big backyard, and we're just gonna again like be 6 feet apart and
Yeah.
get food from elsewhere. And then I have a friend who lives really near me, and I'm going to go to dinner. I'll have dinner at their apartment, and doing the same thing, like being
Yeah.
6 feet apart. And then my parents and my whole family has a Zoom session that we do every day, every Saturday at 5.
Oh,
So it happens that this happens to be my birthday.
yeah.
So I'll also do that too. It's actually a very busy day.
Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time on your birthday. Thank you so much for doing this. It was really fun
Sure, thank you.
chatting
My
with
pleasure.
you.
Good luck. Stay safe.
Thanks. You too. And happy birthday. Have fun.
Okay.
Bye
Bye.
bye.